What if every tremor in your heart, every pulse of dread, every sleepless night, wasn't yours at all? What if the panic seizing your chest like icy fingers was inherited from ancestors long gone, echoes of horrors you never lived, but that live within your cells? Imagine stumbling into a hidden archive where your great-grandmother's wartime nightmares, your great-uncle's starvation terror, and your ancestors' exile grief swirl as a viral code inside your genome. Awake, active, replicating itself in your every anxious thought. Tonight we're ripping open your family's Pandora's box, exposing the dark software running beneath your skin. By the end you'll hold the cure to break the most dangerous virus in history, your own inherited trauma. This is the Thought Alchemist, and today we confront the ancestral virus. Two decades ago, scientists believed DNA was immutable. Today, epigenetics shatters that myth. Harrowing events, wars, forced migrations, famines, don't just scar the psyche, they tag your genes with chemical switches. Those switches persist, past mother to child, generation after generation. Picture a pregnant woman fleeing gunfire, her body floods with cortisol and terror, etching threat mode tags into her eggs. Those eggs become your parents, your siblings, perhaps even you. You think your anxiety is all you, but it may be their burden, still clamoring in your bloodstream. In a landmark 2015 study, Holocaust survivors' grandchildren carried the same stress hormone irregularities, even though those children never set foot in wartime Europe. Their bodies and their psyches bore an inheritance of horror. Every time you feel irrational dread before a date, an exam, a job interview, you're reliving a trauma etched by ancestors whose names you don't even know. Now realize to heal, you must confront not just your wounds, but the battlefield etched in your cells. Carl Jung warned of the collective shadow, the repository of humanity's darkest impulses and unspoken traumas. It isn't confined to one family, it spans entire cultures and centuries. Genocides, witch hunts, pogroms, colonial massacres, they all feed this collective wound. When modern mobs erupt, panic buying during crises, viral conspiracy theories, tribalist outrage, it's not mere hysteria, it's the echo of ancestral riots and collective terrors reverberating through your limbic system. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between an 18th century mob and a trending hashtag. This shared shadow lies dormant until provoked. Then it demands release. History's blood-soaked pages glow in our nerves, igniting gut reactions, suspicion of foreigners, defensiveness against progress, dread of the other. Until we name and integrate this shadow, it will puppeteer our worst fears and most irrational hatreds. Healing demands more than personal therapy. It requires confronting the shadow of our lineage and our species. Only then can we cease to repeat the horrors of our past and rewire the brain's ancient alarm circuits for compassion instead of carnage. Long before laws and constitutions, human survival hinged on tribal codes. Unspoken scripts encoded by millennia of migration, famine, and conflict. If your clan starved, you learned to hoard. If they were invaded, you learned to fear strangers. If they were betrayed, you learned trust meant death. These codes became rituals, fire dances, blood oaths, dawn chanting, binding you to safety. But they also forged neural pathways. Posture, facial expressions, micro-habits wired to ward off invisible threats. Millennia later, you still download those scripts unconsciously. You hoard likes on social media, you shrink from new relationships, you recoil at constructive criticism. Modern stressors, deadlines, digital overload, performance anxiety, reactivate those ancient codes, stoking a survival mind virus in your limbic system. Breaking free means not merely letting go, but retyping these codes. You must relearn trust, generosity, openness, to rewrite the tribal scripts that no longer serve you in a world where cooperation, not caution, spells true survival. Fast forward to now. The ancestral virus finds perfect breeding grounds in our hyper-connected world. A push notification, and your amygdala ignites. A headline and your cortisol spikes. A colleague's curt Slack message, and you're back in the trenches of tribal mistrust. Your smartphone is a trigger generator, each ping a jolt to the fight-or-flight circuitry etched into your cells centuries ago. You wake with dread, scroll in dread, sleep with dread, never realizing your digital world is the perfect amplifier for genetic trauma. What you call stress is a centuries-old program replayed by tiny electrical storms in your brain. The same circuits that once scanned savannas for predators now scan your newsfeed for social threats. Until you interrupt the cycle, this modern world will remain your worst nightmare's favorite film reel. This isn't metaphor, it's laboratory fact. In pioneering studies, shocking one generation of mice caused their grandchildren, who never experienced the shock, to freeze in terror when exposed to a neutral odor. Their amygdalas were wired for fear by their elders' pain. Human studies confirm it. Descendants of famines, genocides, and forced relocations show altered stress hormone profiles, increased rates of PTSD, and even metabolic disorders. Psychoneuroimmunology links chronic ancestral stress to autoimmune diseases, diabetes, and depression. Therapy alone can't erase molecular scars. Meditation can soothe, but unless you address the virus's root tags, your brain's prediction engine keeps forecasting doom. The path to true healing requires a surgical strike on both DNA marks and neural loops. To cure the ancestral virus, we need a reverse engineering ritual, a deprogramming ceremony drawn from shamanic wisdom and modern epigenetic research. Here's the 4-phase protocol. 1. Name the wound. Gather family trauma stories, wars, migrations, losses. Speak each story aloud in a sacred circle, then record it. Naming transforms a phantom into a target. 2. Somatic purge. Engage in tremor therapy, shaking, or primal vocal release in a safe container. Let every cell discharge the adrenal charge stored by ancestors. 3. Ceremonial recode. Plant seeds or trees, one for each trauma. As you plant, recite a future blessing. May love, courage, and peace flourish where fear once reigned. 4. Neurochemical rewiring. After release, flood your system with oxytocin-boosting practices, group singing, compassionate touch, laughter yoga. These new chemicals overwrite the old cortisol tags. Perform weekly for 21 days. Rituals anchor new safety codes in your epigenome, teaching your descendants that fear need not be their inheritance. Imagine waking with hope, not dread. Imagine major challenges, job changes, relationship shifts, arousing curiosity instead of panic. These are the early signs the ancestral virus is fading. Your body's posture relaxes, your breath deepens, cortisol levels stabilize. When a heated email arrives, you feel interest, not annihilation. A parking ticket triggers inconvenience, not existential crisis. Genes that once hoarded energy for famine now fuel creativity and connection. White blood cells shift from siege mode to repair mode. You become the first in your lineage to truly live, not merely survive. Every time you practice gratitude, compassion, and presence, you reinforce a new survival script. One written in joy, resilience, and trust. You are the turning point, the child, the parent, the grandchild who says no more to inherited fear. You stand at the threshold of a revolution. No weapons, no protests, no slogans, just one person choosing to end the cycle. Will you be the one to stop the transmission? If today's journey ignited something in your blood, like share and subscribe, so we can heal our collective genome one soul at a time. The ancestral virus ends here. This is The Thought Alchemist, where forbidden truths become your cure. Thank you so much for watching.